What's up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Coach Kyle Stetzer. I'm dropping in to talk to you guys about health versus fitness and what the difference is. Okay. Oftentimes we talk about health and wellness, but do we know what health and wellness is? Do we know what it means to actually be healthy or completely healthy? What aspects contribute to an individual's health, right? And when we think about fitness, what even is fitness? Is fitness the same thing as health? Do they go hand in hand? Are they two completely different things? What's required to be fit? What's required to be healthy? These are things we're going to quickly discuss today. This will be about a 10 to 15-minute video. So if you're not committed to that, go ahead and pause this and listen to it at a later date. You don't necessarily need to be watching, but I will be utilizing a little very simple Google slide I put together to help my stream of conscience as I continue to talk. So if you'd like to listen to this audio only, feel free, hop in your Tesla, take off, and keep listening. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen right now and pull up my Google slide. So here that is. We're going to share that. Going to keep me on screen. All right. Perfect. So that should be up and going for you. We start this off with health versus fitness. Are they healthy or are they fit? We're going to discuss the difference. When we think about athletes, Usain Bolt, Simone Biles, Patrick Mahomes, what do you think? Do you think of them as high performers? Do you think of them as um, highly fit or supremely fit individuals? Do you think of them as super healthy individuals? Do you think of them as healthy, fit, and high performers, whatever it might be? I challenge you to ask yourself, when you look at Usain Bolt or you see DK Metcalf walking around with his shirt off looking super jacked, when you see Patrick Mahomes walking around with a little beer belly, like when you see Simone Biles do some of the craziest human feats ever and be one of the best athletes to ever live and compete in the Olympics, do you think she's healthy? Do you think she's fit? Let's talk. Let's talk about it. I think one thing that's important to talk about in order to understand your answer to that question, are they healthy, is defining what health really is. So, as we define health, we need to understand that it's not just one thing. To define health, you need to understand that complete mental, social, and physical well being are just a few aspects of what equals a complete state of well being for an individual. As written here, that encompasses physical, mental, emotional, social aspects of a person's life, I would say financial and occupational as well. I would also say spiritual. So, when we think about health or when we think about wellness, you have to think about it on a spectrum. There's a multitude of things that contribute to an individual's overall health. Um, but when it comes down to it, we are looking to be free of disease, right? And when all these areas of health are discombobulated or struggling, the risk factor of disease or the risk factor of sickness or the risk factor of an early death due to poor health is increased when any one of or a lot of these aspects of health are, again, I'm going to use the word discombobulated. So if your mental and chemical balance are off, that can increase your risk factor of poor health. If your psychological health is poor, that can increase, that's a risk factor. If you don't have enough friends or if your social environment, is stressful and is filled with gossiping, backbiting, and hateful conversations, imagine how that contributes to your overall health, emotionally and mentally. If your emotional well-being is poor and you're not taking care of that, imagine where that's taken people on earth and the decisions they've made that, bring them to an early death, right? So same thing goes for physical and, nutritional. All these things contribute to an individual's complete health, and they need to be in somewhat of harmony. At the end of the day, there's going to be days, weeks, hours, months, years where some of these things are popping and they're really booming and things are going really well in this area of life. And then there's going to be other moments where there is a huge drop in your, social wellness or a huge drop in your emotional well-being, but your physical well-being and your psychological well-being might be going well. So there's always going to be ebbs and flows, but we're aiming for harmony in all these areas to equal, proper health or good health, right? So an analogy we can use right now is in a well-tended garden, every plant flower and tree thrives because they are cared for with the right balance of sunlight, water, and nutrients. And just like each part of this garden, every part of your body needs the right care to stay healthy. So just keep that in mind as we move forward. And as we think about the question, are they healthy when it comes to these professional athletes that we're often looking up to when it comes to the term health? Or like, oh, I want to be healthy, or I want to be just like this guy, or I want to look like this guy, or I want to feel like this person. But just keep that in mind. How healthy are they, right? Defining fitness is the next important aspect of this conversation. We need to understand the difference between health and fitness. So, when we think about fitness, it's the ability to perform physical activities and tasks efficiently. Okay. So I'm going to read that again, and then I'm going to read the definition of health. And I hope just from these simple sentences, you can understand the difference. Fitness is the ability to perform physical activities and tasks efficiently. Health is the complete mental, social, and physical well-being of an individual, right? So the ability to perform physical activities and tasks efficiently with optimal performance, endurance, and strength is what we'd call fitness. It's often associated with physical attributes such as strength, endurance, flexibility, and cardiovascular health. Things that are all too familiar to individuals who might be watching this video because you probably know me. You know I'm a personal trainer. And what are the things I talk about on my YouTube, on my Instagram, on my TikTok, when you see me in person in our training sessions? Often it is the physical attributes such as strength, endurance, flexibility, and cardiovascular health, fitness, right? Um, so a quick analogy for fitness is being fit is like having a high performance car. Okay. Super high performance car, one of these F1 racers, right? Just as a well-tuned car runs smoothly, accelerates quickly, and handles long drives with ease, a fit body can perform physical activities efficiently with great strength and endurance. And when a car's engine is powerful and its tires are in good condition, it performs at its best, right? Okay, so we are talking about physical attributes of an individual. Now, purely physical attributes, let's be clear, right? When we talk about health, we're not just talking about physical, we're also talking about mental, emotional, and the social aspect of a person's life, psychological and emotional, right? So if an individual is healthy or really healthy, or they're feeling really healthy, or they're trying to improve their health, they're working on and addressing what areas of the wellness spectrum or the health spectrum are lacking, and what do they need to do to take them from lacking to good to great, right? And trying their best to do that across the board without causing too much stress to the system of trying to be perfect, and then you just like reverse engineer the whole thing back to zero again, right? And when we talk about improving somebody's fitness, we're speaking specifically to their ability to perform physical activities and tasks efficiently, running a half marathon, doing some push-ups, doing a back squat, doing some walking lunges, doing some pull-ups, being able to run a mile, being able to touch their toes, being able to, you know, work on a construction site for longer periods of time without getting gassed out and having to take a 50-minute break every 10 minutes, right? Like we're talking purely about physicality, right? And physical capabilities. So it's really important to understand the difference between fitness when we think about athletes and their health. How healthy is an individual? Do you know how many times we've seen athletes have to sit out, or even in the topic around Simone Biles, where she sat out for one of her competitions, or maybe it was the Olympics of 2020, if I'm remembering correctly, because there were some things going on in her life that she felt like she needed to attend to take care of herself, and so she sat out, right? At least I believe that's the story. That is what we call taking care of health. That is not the same thing as taking care of her fitness. Now, when we think about you know, uh, situations like Ben Simmons. Everyone's hating on Ben Simmons. There's been times where Ben Simmons was sitting out for fitness related reasons because he was physically unable to complete the task of playing basketball due to injuries or due to a lack of fitness in a certain area, right? But there were also times where his health was in question, where his mental health was in question, where he wasn't feeling fit to play or wasn't feeling happy on the team. And that was causing him distress. That is his health being impacted versus his fitness being impacted, if that makes sense. So let's talk about the interesting paradox: healthy yet unfit. Someone might have good overall health, so they might not have any diseases. They might have good mental and social well-being, but they may lack physical fitness, so they struggle with endurance, strength, and flexibility. So it is possible to be healthy but unfit. You might think, yourself right now, you're watching this video, ask yourself, How is my endurance? How's my strength? How's my flexibility? Have I worked out in the past year? Have I worked out in the past 2 years? Do I eat well? Do I take care of my body? Maybe, maybe not. But maybe you don't have any diseases. Your mental health is awesome. You feel like you have a great social community and your emotional well-being is top tier. You're a healthy individual, but you may not necessarily be a fit individual, right? And both go hand in hand at some point, right? If you don't take care of your fitness, then there's a good chance it leads to disease in certain areas. And so your physical health is impacted, which is a part of the health spectrum, right? And once your physical health is impacted, that can also impact your mental health, which then can impact your social well-being, right? And then have a downstream effect. So let's not get it misunderstood that these two don't go hand in hand, but there is definitely a difference and it is important to understand. Fit yet unhealthy. An athlete might excel in physical performance like high strength, great endurance capacity, ability to touch their toes, and uh, have a very flexible body. They're able to touch their hand to their lower back, whatever it might be. Have great mobility and flexibility, but they may have underlying health issues like mental stress, social isolation, or other chronic injuries, right, that impact their overall health, which means they are not healthy. So and I think that is something common. What inspired me to like create this quick little Google slide and make this video is too many people like wanting to strive to be like NFL athletes, NBA basketball players. And we're talking, 45-year-old men when I'm asking, hey, like when we talk, they come in for a consultation and they're like, I want to be healthier, I want to be fit, like LeBron James, I just want to be strong again. And I'm like LeBron James, like, first off, I know they don't mean it like seriously, but it is important to understand that these individuals might be very um, physically capable of certain activities, but there is no guarantee that their mental health is solid, that their social wellness is solid, that they're not dealing with certain types of chronic injuries or chronic pain, right? And what most people genuinely want is to feel healthy. And again, remember the definition of health. They want to feel healthy. They don't actually care about deadlifting 225. They don't care about squatting 415. They don't care about being able to run 4 miles or run a half marathon. They don't necessarily care about touching their toes. They just want to feel good when they move around. They want to feel happy and joyful. They want to be proud of the body they have. They want to feel, you know, just well. They want to feel well. They want to be able to sleep well. They want to wake up with energy. They want to not have gut issues and have their stomach hurting all the time. They want to be able to go out and enjoy life with their family without getting chronic headaches and feeling like, shit's just not going well, right? They just want to be healthy. So I'm going to give a few more examples, give some factors contributing to the paradox, and then we'll move on. So, example again, fit yet unhealthy. A professional athlete might have outstanding physical capabilities but suffer from chronic pain, high stress, or emotional difficulties. Healthy yet unfit. A person with a balanced life, no illnesses, and good mental health, but struggles to run a mile, okay, or lift weights. Factors contributing to the paradox: training intensity. So, high levels of physical training can sometimes lead to injuries or burnout. We see this amongst a lot of athletes later in their careers where they just train so much or they play too many games back to back, where their high levels of physical exertion sometimes lead to injuries or just burnout with the sport they're playing or burnout with the activities they're doing. Mental stress. Got to charge my laptop, excuse me, for 2 seconds. But mental stress, the pressure to perform can lead to anxiety, depression, or other mental health issues. Again, going back to athletes. Um, Especially young athletes, and for parents, you guys should be mindful of this is like the mental stress, the pressure to perform can lead to anxiety, depression, or other mental health issues. Feeling like you need to play well in this upcoming basketball game because your dad wants you to, or because you're worried that you're going to upset your dad. Like, got to be mindful of how mental stresses in athletics or when it comes to fitness can have the reverse effect of health, right? You might think you're doing well for yourself or think you're doing well by encouraging your friend to hit this lift or that they need to show up or else you're going to like disown them or whatever it might be. So be mindful of that. Social isolation, intense training schedules might reduce time for social interactions and relationships. Again, I think this is more applicable to young athletes and parents who have them playing every sport on earth, plus going to school, plus going to training, and they have no time to hang out with friends, and they're all in on sports can become very overwhelming. Same thing goes for individuals who have a fitness goal and they're trying to achieve certain levels of fat loss or achieve a certain level of strength, and they're become so obsessed with it that they make no time for friends. They become socially isolated. They no longer go out with friends because they're worried about making bad food decisions. They so many other things, and then they end up being unhealthy again because they are mentally stressed, anxious, and potentially depressed, all because they were trying to chase a fitness goal to an extreme, right? Let's talk about perception. Many people associate good health with physical appearance, but this can be misleading. Health goes beyond how someone looks. Remember that. It includes mental, emotional, and social well-being. For example, a marathon runner may appear fit, six pack, running a marathon, looking strong on social media, on Instagram. You love watching their stories because they look so healthy and you want to look like them, but they might struggle with unhealthy lifestyle habits such as poor nutrition, lack of sleep, or high stress, which you don't want. And you don't want that. So stop comparing yourselves to others. Develop a strong understanding of the difference between what it means to be healthy and what it means to be fit, and understand that, fitness and health are not always the same thing, although they do work in tandem quite a lot. Health is more than appearance. Remember that. And a key takeaway: health should be viewed holistically, considering all aspects of life, not just physical performance. Coaches, if you're just getting into the industry, especially personal trainers, strength coaches, please understand that you need to consider all aspects of life, not just their physical performance. You need to consider sleep, consider what's going on in their relationships, consider what's going on at home, consider their nutrition, consider how much money they're making, how much they're having to work, or how much they don't work, where they're struggling financially. Do they like their job? Like, there's so many things that contribute to health, and you need to be mindful of that when it comes to taking care of one's overall wellness, but especially from a physical performance standpoint as well. So again, they do work in tandem. Um, True health, harmonious bodily systems, along with balanced approach to life. Holistic wellness, we've already talked about. Seek support. Strive for health with the help of experts and support systems to achieve lasting wellness for sure. Yeah, and then I guess, and I sped it up because my computer's about to die, but I guess the question at the end of the day, after going through that, hopefully that made a little bit of sense, gave you some new insight, and forces you to ask yourself again, are they healthy? Usain Bolt, Simone Biles, Patrick Mahomes, the athletes you love so much. I'll ask you again, are they healthy? Yes or no? Maybe. Just please do not compare yourselves to athletes or shredded bodybuilders because they do not define health. They do not define what health is for you. They do not define what fitness is for you. They define fitness in specific areas and performance in their respective crafts. And we can respect it, we can admire it, but we shouldn't always strive for it and fucking kill ourselves on the path to doing that. So be great, ladies and gentlemen. Ask yourself, am I thinking about health? Am I thinking about fitness? What do I really want? And I'm gonna make a video again in the near future about like the goal pyramid where we talk about, do you want performance? Do you want aesthetics? Do you want health? And understanding the difference between those three. Hopefully this video made sense. Thank you for watching this video. Share it with a friend, drop a comment, let me know what I could have done better. Happy to discuss this conversation in more depth in future videos if you want, or you can just shoot me an email at coach, STUTZER, @gmail.com. Peace.